This is Samuel again. I hope you're doing well and enjoy the summer season. In this video, I would like to cover the historical trend of one of the index, which is S&P 500, and to predict how the market may end up for 2024. Since my last video, which is like 6 weeks ago, the market was very strong with great positive momentum. September so far is a very good month up to this point. This is primarily driven by surprise news from Fed lowering interest rate by half percent basis point rather than a quarter basis point, coupled with inflation cooling down. Prior to October national holiday in China, which is 75th anniversary of the People's Republic of China, China has announced stimulus plan. The last time the bold stimulus was 2008. China's central bank on Friday lowered interest rate and injected liquidity in the banking system. The plan may include using 2 trillion yuan in specific sovereign bond central bank, cuts reserve requirement ratio by 50 basis point fiscal measures to focus on consumer subsidized government debt. Some of the Chinese stock along with Asian market went up more than 20% with the news. So we have been very bullish over the last few days after that. And look at this graph quickly, which charted for the last 5 years. The highlight for this is to predict general stock behavior in October, because we're from September and next month going to October. In 2029, I know it's kind of small and hard for you to read, but just so you're just going to look at this trend alone. In 2029, if you recall, the stock market was impacted by COVID. During March of 2020, the market was down significantly, driven by the market rescue for the rebound. As a result of the election year, the market was up by 27%. So here's a statistic that capturing how the market was behaving for the year 2018 up to 2023. For 2018, it wasn't a good year. 2019 was great. 2020 was also good. This is compared to the beginning of first day of the year versus the very last day of the year. You can see versus in the S&P 500 index above this graph here, which is very hard to read. September versus October, the highlight was, you can see 2018 was down 6% because it wasn't a good year overall. 2019 up 3%, 2020 down, 2021 up, 2022 was up, 2023 is down. And so I'm kind of predicting, if what's going on this year, potentially for September versus October, you could down about 3% or up about 5 to 7%. So it's really within a 10% threshold, absolute values that you can predict it between September and October. However, I personally thinking that, what is this trend telling us? The market may pull back to the strong upward push in September by 5% as again, the market will be very bullish in the month of September, but also will have a potential upward swing. But you have to be very careful about October, the volatility, even though, I'm looking at this index from a month-to-month comparison. So let's now give you a brief updates on how other stocks were performing, since my last video. The first one, which is my favorite, is HYLN, Helium. This closed at $2.56 on last Friday. The stock had dropped it from 260, which is high end, to 220 last month. You see there, pretty much, if you look at a 1 month trend, it was having a dip. But then you pull back to $1.70 at a very lower point, which is you see here. But then the announcement about a government contract with obviously the condition of getting that, with recent earning announcement saying that they still at a loss, but a much more smaller loss compared to previous year. The stock have been with the news with the interest rate cut, which is a great macroeconomic factors. The stock have been really bullish and push it back, basically record high at $2.73 on Friday at one point. So this is still a stock I projecting to $3, but for the long run, I think the market, this company, if survive, would do very well. Again, the stock, just a reminder that it was, when they issuing, raising the way to raise a fund, it went up to as high as $52, a 5-year highs, and went as low as 53 cents. So think about the story of NVIDIA I shared with you in the last video. So if you want to hear that to learn more about it, you want to go back to my last video. The second one, Tesla. Uh, at one point, the Tesla stock had dipped back to about $210, but it went for a rough time, because of the earnings announcement wasn't really, surprising the investors. However, the new model and the predict strong sales of China, driven by news of lower interest rate, it really could come what a pullback, right, to $271 at one point at the 52-week high. So this stock may continue to have momentum and may be probably hitting about $300, but then I think it may be pulled back after that. And as I told you about the index, going back to my last video a bit, I gave my prediction of index, and actually they were hitting the, especially Dow Jones Industrial Average, it will hit my predictions. So with Tesla was being part of the index of measurements, right? And they are storming, doing the math from 220 versus 260 now. It does have quite a bit of impact on the index. That's why the index was hitting higher and higher, along with Apple and all Meta, those stocks that were doing very well with a very bullish forecast of AI futures. The next one I want to talk about is Pinduoduo, which is a Chinese stock PDD. This stock has dropped to level 110 recently, but rebounded strongly after a stimulus plan. It back to $139 as high on Friday. I think the stock will move and probably have support level at $150. The company continue to expand and gain market shares, and you can consider that this is like called China Amazon, if you will. And revenue, net income, PE ratio in particular is pretty attractive, and they look great. So again, for a long run, this is a stock that, out of a lot of Chinese, you can say internet, a high-tech stock, this is one of those that's have a potential. And then the other one, Baidu, BIDU, but you have a really, really high volatility as well. It's dropped it as low as $85 from $125. So you can see like 50% range. And you can see this one as well, where within a month, really have 45% come back, right? And next one is Netflix. For those who listened to my last video, I was having predicted that the stock will hit $700 fair enough. I mean, you're really hitting a high at $725 is well above that level. Depending on market strategy and future market penetration and what kind of movies, or if they will focus anything else, just like Costco have their own brand, which Netflix basically have their own video, but they may actually, with the extra cash, to do all other stuff, like maybe in the AI space, the stock would be kind of going back of a really dependent on strategic planning. I really think they will hit $1,000, and then they may do a split after that. I sold this share, however, around 710 just for transparency purposes, but I had 125% profit on Netflix, just that you know. And the next one, which is also my favorite, which is in the EV space, XPeng, is one of the stock that was very remarkable, and I really love the model, the new model, the vehicle that they come up with. When I talk about this stock, it was an $8 level. If you go back to my video, Friday closing at $12.72, which is 50% increase in a month. And in this case, this month to month really at 74%, because it was even lower than $8, like $7. Though U.S. insists of 100% imposed tariffs, if XPeng decide to really move their vehicle into the U.S. territory for the growth of their market shares, they're still relatively cheaper than Tesla and other EVs. So just want to give you perspective as well as a reminder. The stock was at $76, a record high when they were the year that they were with COVID and pushing everything through, people staying home, and talk about how energy prices were and what the future outlook going to be. Then this stock have been really hitting high, along with Leo, L-I, NIO and Lee. And the IPO price was $14. So at this point, it's still below the IPO prices. Just want you to notice that. And the next one, which is more the other two, more talk about travel stock and also hotel stock. Obviously, along with the stimulus plan, the casino and the hotel stock have also really pushed up very wildly a lot in the last couple of days. So CCL, I've recommended this stock. Again, this stock is as high as really really high, like it was dropping like $9 during COVID. Yeah, it's driven up from $16 to as high as $19 recently. So an increase of 18% in a month. And this is like if you look at low end of the month and compared to where we're at this point, it was giving 28% return. I'm looking this as a support level around $19 right now, and we're with $21 if you break through. Last but not least is United Airlines, which is another favorite that I have propaganda. The stock pre-COVID was at $90, and we obviously got hit with because of COVID. But now you have been rebound pretty well with new strategic alliance they have. And the latest news they have is they may actually getting free internet to customers, probably launch in 2025 using the Meta satellite, or to leverage that. So this stock again is doing really pretty well because the stock was closer with prediction of very close to my prediction last video, $62. The $60.23 was the highest point on last Friday. And the time I'll share insight about this, right? It was about around $42. So you will have a profit of 38% in a month for this stock if you have bought it in at the time around the time I recommended. Going back to the analysis I mentioned, which is again on this graph, I actually decreased my position more than 50% just for transparency purpose to hold the cash right now. So I'll set up a limit price to buy back from the month end high right now at this point. I mean, the market could be pushed up higher in the next couple of days, but obviously a lot of time, Friday is a time to sell because over the weekend there's a news coming up. You don't know what happens. So that you're skipping 2 days, and Monday will be the day that we add that. Friday and Monday normally, it's very difficult to. I mean, there's more volatility, and the P market will be actually more reaction of what was expected the following week. And I would say just kind of set up a price by 30% lower than at what we seen on Friday. If you're interested in buying any specific stock you look at, one example would be NVIDIA. When at the day when the Japanese announced the increase of interest, actually the stock have hit very hard, like 30%. So you were able to really put a lower buy, and you will get that for 30% discount. Again, rationale behind this is there probably a bad news. I mean, one good news driven the market very bullish, but same hold true for the market slip back, and especially if the market just have been really high, then people will have profit taking, right? So you really subject of what is this going to be about, like band yield curve impact, employment data, different expectations. All those can put the price back, put the stock down, right, for a day or two. Then this triggers some buying opportunity, anticipating that November push again will be higher again November due to the election, along with the potential interest rate cut that they were talking about right now. Thank you for listening. Hope you have a great and wonderful weekends.